Elevate and Grow Business Forum. I would like to officially start the program, and for that we are going to start with a recitation from Holy Quran, and I would like to request Shujat Ismail to please come up.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
Jazakallah, Shujat. Before we start the program, I would request Rohelia to please come up to do the land acknowledgement.
Land acknowledgement. The land we are standing on today is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, and the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 signed with the Mississaugas of the Credit, and the Williams Treaties signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa bands. We would like to request that we reflect and appreciate these contributions and of many communities thereafter that have made Canada their home. Thank you.
Thank you, Rohelia. Now I would like to welcome all of you on behalf of Ansaar Foundation, which is dedicated to elevating poverty by implementing sustainable initiatives that empower individuals and communities to break the cycle of economic leadership and their hardship. Through targeted programs and strategic partnerships, we strive to create a lasting positive impact and foster economic resilience for those in need. Further, I would take no more time and we'll just go to our main agenda, and we'll invite today's next speaker, Qasim Warwani, who is a treasurer, Ansaar Foundation. And I would just tell a little bit brief about him, that he works as a professional service team leader for Board International, a leading CPM BI vendor. He has international experience, having worked in Africa, Middle East, and North America for leading companies. He has previously volunteered as Secretary, Internal Auditor, and Treasurer for NMG Canada. Brother Qasim is a graduate of IIT Kharagpur and holds an MBA from Oxford Brookes University. He is a fellow of ACCA, member of ICACA, and CPA in Canada. Please welcome Brother Qasim Warwani.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. With that small prayer, I begin today's discussion. I wanted to cover, and basically, just for information, my family also doesn't know what I do. Okay. They constantly ask me, what do you do at work? So today it's going to be a presentation for my family as well. I have my son, my daughter-in-law out there, and I'm hoping that I'm able to also explain to them what I do, right? So let's begin. Just introductions which we have done, by the way. What is FP&A and why it is important and how is it done? Right, and then we're going to walk through some examples. Now, I do not make a very elaborate presentation. I know we are all like here to network, but this is just to get the thought process going, what's out there, what happens, what software is out there in the market, and what I do, hopefully, right? So let's jump into that. And you as a department manager, you can put in your budget and you can see how am I doing against the target. If my target, finally, can also look at capex planning, like you want to invest in new machinery, new capital expenditures, etc. You can also do those kind of plannings.
Thank you, Brother Qasim. Today's guest of speaker, who is a Lebanese Canadian business person, philanthropist, who doesn't need any introduction, but I would love to introduce him to say a few lines in his honor. Founder of a Middle Eastern restaurant chain, Paramount Fine Foods. He also conducts charitable work and community service through the Fakih Foundation. He was awarded the Order of Canada. Paramount Fine Foods is one of the North America's fastest growing Middle Eastern halal food chains. Due to his turnaround leadership, I think that deserves a big round of applause for him. He definitely deserves more than that. He's equally renowned as a respected philanthropist, as he's an awarded winning entrepreneur, as the face and voice of UN Refugee Advocacy Agency Canada. He is an unwavering advocate for refugees, diversity, and anti-hate movements. He inspires audiences to grow their businesses and provides them with sustainable ways to give back to their communities and change the world. Arriving in this new country, Canada, he had $1,300, just $1,300 in his pocket. He bought a near bankrupt restaurant and built it into one of the North America's fastest growing Middle Eastern halal food chains, Paramount Fine Foods, and all while becoming one of the country's most respected philanthropists. So we can see where he started and where he landed. Please welcome Brother Mohamad Fakih.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Great to see you all. Thank you for the great introduction, and thank you Ansaar Foundation, Imam Patel. We all grew in this country looking up to you. Thank you very much for the leadership. You made us grow proud to be Muslim while we're working and trying to build our businesses. Thank you so much everyone, a lot of people in the room that I have looked up to, and they were beside me while I was growing my business. But most importantly, I arrived here with nothing in my pocket. I lived in Italy. I left Lebanon when I was 16 years old. I lived during the Civil War and survived a couple of the Israeli war on Beirut. At 16 years old, I left to Italy, where I studied to become a gemologist. So I'm a gemologist that sells shawarma for a living, I guess. And that shows you that whatever you study, it's very important, but you shouldn't limit yourself to what you learned in the university. After that, I did my master's degree in Italy. That makes me speak Italian perfectly. And I went back to Lebanon, where my mom, until today, she thinks in a year or two, Lebanon will become a Switzerland of the Middle East again. She's been thinking that way for the last 50 years. I built a business there, and after 2 years, the war restarted again. I lost my entire business, and I decided to leave. My dad, to punish me, froze my account. He didn't want me to leave. Instead of going to Italy, a friend of mine lived here. I came here to visit him, and I liked it. I didn't have a job. People wouldn't even take a chance on me. I worked at Coffee Time. I lived in a basement apartment. The gentleman named Mohamad Rizk, he's today my vice president at Paramount. He picked me up from the airport, dropped me off at a basement apartment where we shared with 2 other men one basement. And we lived in that basement, and I used to work at Coffee Time. And I used to go to this jewelry store. Funny enough, I found out after, the owner was Israeli. I didn't know. And I used to go apply for a job every single day at that jewelry store. I used to ask him if he has any space for me to give me an opportunity. And he used to say, you don't have Canadian experience. And I was surprised, because gemology is science, has nothing to do with the Canadian experience. You deal with diamond microscope, you certify diamond, so you don't need, there is no difference between certifying a diamond here or in Europe. I kept insisting until he hired me for free, only commission on my sale. I took the job. Fast forward 6 months after, La Suisse, the company that used to have Rolexes everywhere in every mall, came after me and hired me as a manager. And a year after, I became the vice president for 4 locations of La Suisse. A lovely lady walked in, an Italian lady, her name is Tanya, she's still a friend of mine. She wanted a $250,000 watch. I didn't know who she is, started helping her. She put the watch on, it looked terrible. The watch is too small. You know how hard to tell a woman that her wrist is too big for the watch that she loves? Very difficult, don't try it. So I had to tell her the truth. I said the watch doesn't look good. And I took my chance. I didn't make a bigger sale. Even I was looking forward for the commission. It would have bought me my first car in Canada. But I built a relationship. And that's the first lesson today. Build relationships. Don't focus on one-time interaction. Those help. And that relation specifically changed my life. Tanya came back. She owned the Vado boutique in Sherway Garden and several other jewelry boutiques and and she offered me a job. I said to her, look, your company is too small. My salary will break your company. Does your husband have money? She said, yes. I said, I didn't come to Canada and left my family to just work as an employee. Why don't you give me just minimum wage and 20% of your company? And I will grow it in the next 3 years. She said, you're crazy. I said, I know that. But that's the only way I would come with you. And honestly, I'm protecting you. Your company cannot afford me. She said no. She left. 2 months after, she came back with her husband. We had dinner, and they agreed. But I figured I'll ask for 25%, and it worked. I realized in life you only get what you have the courage to ask for. I asked for more, they gave it to me. Fast forward, after 4 years, she got sick a little bit. The company became 7 locations. She asked me to buy the company, I couldn't afford it. I bought 2 locations only, and she waited for her money. And then one day I go to Switzerland, and I don't know if you guys see the Swatch locations all across Canada, the Swatch kiosks. I see that kiosk in the airport of Switzerland. I go line up at Swatch. I wait for the owner. I don't have an appointment. The guy is as important as the president of the country. Swatch is very important in Switzerland. And I got to talk to him, and he ended up being Lebanese. And I asked him if he would give me exclusive right to open kiosks in Canada. And he said yes. So I got that exclusivity for 20 years. I opened the first one in Sherway Garden. Fast forward, they became 40 locations of Swatch. Swatch came back, said we want it back. I said, you gotta buy it. They threatened me to cut me off from supply because they didn't want to buy it from me. I said, I'm not gonna stop. I continued. They filed legal. I asked for $20 million. They settled me in a small room for $11 million. The moment I got the money in my bank account, I didn't sleep. All night I was checking on the money because I thought they're joking with me, right? Because I never seen more than 50,000 in my bank account, ever. I don't think I had even 50. And I kept every half hour check on it thinking that they pulled a joke on me or something. I started building houses, multi-million-dollar homes. And one day my wife sent me to buy a kilo baklava right here in Dixie and Eglinton. I walk into this place called Paramount. The owner stopped me and says, I saw your picture, you sold a Swatch. I said, yes. He said, would you lend me some money? And I'm like, I just want a kilo baklava. I don't know you. Why would I lend you money? And then he said, look, we have 15, 16 families, all Muslims, immigrant. I need you to help. We're bankrupting. I said, that's my card. You know, one of those, you hand your card hoping that they'll never call you because you don't know what to do with it, right? So So I give him my card, and I get into my car, and I'm like, wait a second. But isn't it God has given me and sent me people to help me, for me to help back again? So I actually got off my car again, went back into the guy, and I said, come see me tomorrow morning. So he came, saw me, lended him the money. 3 days after, he called me, he said, Revenue Canada froze his account. No one worked for CRA here, right? So I said to him, that's fine, let me deal with them, I'll call them. He said, I'm done, I want to go to Dubai, I don't want this. I said, I don't know how to boil water, what are you doing? Like, I mean, I need to save my money. We just invested in something, you have a staff, they have children, let's do something about it. He said, I'll help you, I'll teach you, but I want to go back to Dubai. I bought the business. That was the start of Paramount. And I'll never forget that day. I was wearing ripped jeans, and all these big chefs, you know, they feel like they're bigger than life, and they know it all and everything. And I'm walking in ripped jeans, white t-shirt, and I'm like, I love this business. I would love to make it to 3 locations. That's beautiful. Halal community needs this. And I'm happy about it, and I'll never forget it. A chef looked at me up and down, and he said, you know, I hope you make enough money you can buy a pair of jeans that doesn't have ripping in them. I said, okay, that's fine. He said, you'll never be able to grow this company. It's very, very difficult. I said, it's okay, I'm used to try. I'll try and I'll make it bigger. And look, fast forward, Paramount Fine Food today is 62 locations. We employ over 2,000 people. Rodney is my mentee. I've mentored him since he was 7 years old, pretty much. I know him very well. We're partners in the roofing business. I'm in the roofing business, tiling business. We own real estate, plazas. We've done all this by sticking to our values, principles, and things that I learned from my parents, from people like Imam Patal, elderly in Italy, and people in Lebanon. I committed that I want to get to where I have dreamt always, without losing myself, without losing our value. By always calling myself a proud Muslim Canadian. And I didn't want people to call me Mo and me and Bo and B and change my name to Firin. I wanted to fit in as a Muslim. Who I am, what I stand for. We all want to make money, we all open businesses, but a lot of people have a different way to get there. I figured out a way that works for me, and I hope all of you do. My way to make a business profitable, we all want to make money, a lot of money, profit, but for me it was the 3 Ps. People, purpose, planet, to get to profit. And I start with people. Just now, me and Rodney walking outside, somebody stopped me and said, you're Mohamad Fakih, right? I said, yes. He said, Mohamad, customer is always right. You have to remember, customer is always right. And I laughed. And I said to the lady, you're wrong. And she goes, but customer comes first, because she has to be right, right? I said, no, customer don't come first, actually. My employees come first. To the owner of a company, to a manager of a company, to a leader in the community, your people should come first. Always, always, when you put your people first, they will put the customer first, and everyone will win. My dad had a sign in his office, it says, if I don't look after my customers, someone else will. And he had, with a knuckly marker, black on the customer, and he wrote by hand employees. So to everyone in the room that employ people here, your employees are your reason for success. When you treat your employee well, they will actually buy into your company, and they'll save money, they'll commit, and they'll make it profitable. I know it sounds crazy. How do you make your employee first before the customer? There is no other way. Don't try. There is no other way. When I spoke about putting your employee first 15 years ago, people never believed it. And today, everybody talks about diversity and inclusion, have them have an opinion, you know, have them write their opinion of the management without putting their name, so we can hear their opinion. million other way when 10 years ago nobody believed in it. It was always about the shareholders and about making a profit. But they didn't realize the only way to make a profit is to have employees happy, satisfied. And that means me still until today cleaning table, walking around talking to the dishwasher, having a meal together, learning about them and learning from them. We have this, when COVID hit, everybody was down. And we did this 5-minute meeting every single morning, where pets and children allowed. We go on a Zoom and we talk about two things. What's something we all can celebrate? And what's something that didn't let you sleep last night? So my team and their family felt like they're looked after. They felt that the company that they belong to care about them, love them, and that they're not only part of a job. People don't work for companies, people work for people. People work for human, and you need to put them first if you want them to carry that flag and make your dream come true. Any other way won't work. Everyone had tried it differently. They have failed. And I will be not the person that you respect during my journey if I miss. I have been a refugee myself. I've been hired as a refugee, and I have hired refugees. I've been hired as a Muslim from diverse background, and I have hired people from diverse background. Your company and our country will be better when you hire more refugees. The grit that they come with is different. They come very hungry, and sometimes that hunger lasts. I'm still hungry until today. Hire people that came here to build a better life. Hire people that have a lot of hope, and hire people that can be forever hungry. I spoke about people. I'm going to talk about purpose. And a lot of people say to me, Mohamad, you weigh in politics. It's dangerous for business. You weigh in everything. You're crazy. That's dangerous. How come every other businessman don't do or say what you say? What I learned from my mom, we had a small, what we call sadaqah box. It was a shoe box. It says with a nice marker on it, it says sadaqah. My mom had it by the side of the door. And she won't allow us to go anywhere without putting 25 cents every single morning. That's a sadaqah box right there. Right? And she wired us in a way that you're only going to be successful. You will only be blessed. You will only come back home during the war if you have fed someone or donated to someone in the morning. And we were wired that way. My kids has a sadaqah box at home today. And I tell Rodney and a lot of my mentee, when somebody calls me and said, I'm stressed, the bank did this, I'll say, you know what? Feed the poor. Pay some sadaqah. And they'll come back, yeah, it's not cool. You know what? It's not cool like we dress up like a nice car. Sadaqah is an old mentality. You know, what is this guy talking about? There is financial planning and there is million things. What's the sadaqah has to do with it? Trust me, more you give, more you get back. Every religion says that, and it's been proven. Look at me. I came here with nothing. I've seen people buying a slice of pizza that I used to wish that I could have one. I've had nights where I had slept hungry, and I ate the old donut in the coffee time because I didn't have money to buy a dinner. My winter jacket from Lebanon wasn't really good enough. I used to hide in the phone booth, waiting for the bus because it was too cold. And I committed since that day, I'll never see somebody hungry and I will not help them. And I'll never see somebody that doesn't have a voice and I will not become their voice. So that's all attached to business. And when your employee and your community see you giving back, they will support you. It's crazy how the world turned. 10, 12 years ago, when I said when you support your community, people will come back and support you, people laugh. And now when we see people boycotting business for how the owner made a wrong decision who to support from their own money, we realize that the opposite work. When you hire people from your community, you support the soccer team, you feed people through Ansaar Foundation and others. Customers wants to come and support you. I have thousands and thousands of pictures, people buying food from Paramount last 2 weeks because I used my voice for Palestine and for the children. And I was attacked for that. Our community stood up and said, no, not this company. Your company will be supported the best way, better than any financial planning, when you put your heart forward, your community forward, and the poor people first, and you become the voice of the voiceless. While you're doing that, you could do both. You could be a very smart entrepreneur, but your heart and your community and your company are all one, connected together. These two things are not at odds. Some people call it 3 letters. Some people says, let's do some charity so we can show off. I call it kinder capitalism. I'm a capitalist. I love money. I dress up well. I spend on myself and my family. But you could do that and be kind at the same time. And it's not only a right thing to do. It's not only fun or luxurious thing to do. It's actually a way of life, of making a profit by being kind, by being an example, and by having a reason for the community to support you so you make better business, better sale, and you set a better example. That's for me what purpose means. I need to really weigh in, and I would be wrong if I don't. We need to send the message always. Entrepreneurs are privileged. We're all privileged in this room. Are we using our privilege for the better good for everyone, or we're not? Or God has given us some money and we hide it under the pillow, we count it every day, we have better wedding, bigger houses, and we forget about the people who needs it. And then, when our brothers and sisters in Palestine and in Gaza, being starved, eating animal food, do we use our voice? Or we worry about somebody taking away the account of the accountant, or taking away another meal from a restaurant, or not buying a pair of shoes from someone who owns a shoe business? The community will never respect you if you do that. Entrepreneur has a voice. And this idea that I want to worry about my interests, about my job, about this, about that, not to use my voice is wrong. If you get fired because you choose to use your voice for Palestine, or for any oppressed in the world, you wear it as a badge of honor for the rest of your life. And if you work for a company that's threatening you, if you use your voice for Gaza, that means you're going to lose your job. Go look for another job and use your voice for Gaza. Because if they start by threatening you that way and silence you, this is not the company that you should be proud to work for. What I learned during the pandemic, that we have to be in life a little bit like a shark and a little bit like a goldfish. Because a lot of people say, I was growing my business and this problem happened. You're gonna always fall, many times. And you know, the alchemist said, you're gonna fall 7 times before you stand up once properly to last in business. So when things happen and things go wrong, you need to be like a shark and like a goldfish. A goldfish, very short memory. You're not stuck with what happened, with the problem in the past, what people said about you, who attacked you, who did this, who did that. Be like a goldfish. Forget it, keep running forward. Be shark. A shark's like, keep going forward. The sharks only go forward. Don't look at the right, at the left. When you're growing your company, when you're doing things or advocacy for your community, a lot of people will have a lot of opinion about you. Many people will try to slow you down. Be like a shark, because you go faster when you actually don't focus for what's sad. It's very important. Look, we've had a very weird year this year. Difficult one. A year for discovery, I would say, more than anything else. We found out a lot about ourselves and about each other. We found out a lot about people that we used to support and we respect. We realized that humanity became a point of view, and it applies to some, but not others. And to some people that used to say humans are equal, they meant, but some are more equal than others. They didn't mean all humans are equal. Sadly, it's no longer Canadian is a Canadian in Canada, and nor a Canadian approach across the world. What do? We unite. We do the right thing. We do sadaqah. We become the voice of the voiceless. And what we do, I'll tell you what the world needs from us. The world needs us to be good people. Good people who are willing to do good things. Thank you so much.
I won't let it go like this. I would like to share a few moments and absolutely will open the forum for the question answers, but I would also like to share a few moments with Brother Fakih here, because I have been a great fan of him and I have been following his footsteps and closely studying him and his history and his contribution to the community. And I have gone through the similar path, started from the basement, struggled a lot, and did get the trust from the community, didn't get partners to contribute and all. Within 4 years, just wanted to briefly share here that started last 4 years a franchisee under the daycare, ICE childcare, and within 4 years, following his footsteps, I have got 20 plus locations in GTA. So thank you so much for setting that example and giving us those broader perspective that build a relationship. That's very important. Courage to ask, taking the challenge. Always be ready to take the challenge. Those are the winners who take the challenge. And different ways than the others. Those 3 P's, the important: people, purpose, and planning. Very important. Be focused and put your employees top first before anything else. And also, more you give, more you'll get back. So on that note, we'll just have a small token of appreciation, and to do the honor, I will request Dr. Abdul Hamid to please present it.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. Just as a FYI, today in the morning I got a message that Brother Mohamad Fakih was not feeling well. But I also got a message that regardless of how he's feeling, he's going to be here. And that by itself says so much about this person.
I wanted to ask that permission if you will allow me to come on. I'm not feeling well, that's all.
But Alhamdulillah, he's here, and what an inspirational talk that he gave us. And I'm sure all of us, have been inspired by his talk, and will take this and put it into practice, inshallah. And hopefully we have one Mohamad Fakih here, but inshallah down the road we will have Mohamad Fakihs, many of them, inshallah. With this, I just would like to recognize and give this token of appreciation, and I'll call our trustee Imam Patel to come and present this. It's a recognition award presented to Mohamad Fakih, Paramount Fine Foods, in appreciation of your outstanding services to our organization and the community. Jazakallah khairan. Thank you so much.
Present this to you.
I would love to take questions if any business people have questions.
Any questions?
So all my life I've worked for Islamic Bank. I'm an ex-Dubai Islamic banker, but then thanks to my partners, their support, we are starting up an initiative, inshallah, Mabrook. My question is, Brother Mohamad, is that, the community is fragmented, and I have seen it like in my entire life. I have served in Sudan, Indonesia, Kenya, Jordan, and wherever we go and set up bank, the community is fragmented. Business owners will come and ask me that, Fahad, okay, we see you at an engine, because we wanted a non-interest or riba-free product, and we believe that you're going to provide it. But unfortunately, I was not able to deliver because of, the corporate structure and the corporate structure. Because the SME comes when you work for a bank, more of the risk equation and all that come, and then that puts a barrier for the SME business owners to really thrive. And I saw people like they said that okay, it's okay if you don't expand, but we don't want to deal with the interest-based banks. We want DIB to help. But now, inshallah, we are trying to set up the similar solution here, inshallah. But this time it will be like really on the grassroots level. My question is that, what is your advice to us on putting the community together? I mean, you spoke about the employees, but what is the essence of putting, all this diversified community together? What should we do? What should be that essence?
Thank you so much for the question. It's just simply, the answer is like a lot of other questions. How can I get more support? How can I get more business? How can we get more people to come out and vote? How can we get more? You need to show up for the community. Building a business separate than the community does not bring the community to the business. And knowledge. A lot of people are afraid of new systems. And a lot of people find, it's not easy to get people to zoom into details. And because their system of running a business is used to the old way, different way, and therefore they do not have, and they always have the fear of you wanting something from them that changes their life. And as you know, and I know, especially when it comes to their money, people are afraid, and especially our community. We're afraid to rock the boat and make decisions that changes things. So they need to feel that they can trust, and they need to feel like you're someone could be trusted, and spend time with them more, show up more to events to them where you have the opportunity to speak and explain. Put groups like this and explain to them the difference between the regular system and the new system that you're bringing in. People, and I know Menzel, I know a lot of entrepreneurs that have brought Islamic financing to the country, and it's doing much better. People are more open to listen. And it depends definitely on the group or age group or investor group because a lot of the younger people are more open to listen to that, more the people who actually made this country a better place for us. And it's a hard work, it's not easy. And you know what, the community is fragmented, it is. But I love our community, and our community need to know we have so much power. You don't realize it, we have so much power. We just came back from Ottawa. The Prime Minister believes we have so much power. Every single minister believes we have so much power. It's time to show them that we're united, but at the same time united in the front of supporting businesses, our businesses as well. Thank you.
Just to recognize one of our biggest sponsor, Halal Meals, and to do the honor, I will request our president, Brother Zulfikar Hatiani, to please come up. Thank you. Now next to introduce Ansar, I would invite Dr. Abdul Hamid Hatiani, who is CEO of Ansaar Foundation, seamlessly blends academic expertise and practical grassroots management. With a PhD from University of Toronto, he excels in stakeholder management.
Jazakallah khairan. I didn't expect that introduction. But to introduce Ansaar Foundation, I am not going to say much. We have a short video. And before I ask that we see this short video, it's a 6-minute video about Ansaar Foundation, I just want to reflect back 20 years ago. A person by the name of Abdul Hai Patel, who we know, Imam Dr. Abdul Hai Patel, was left his office and was walking on the streets of downtown Toronto. And there he saw some people checking the garbage to find food. And at that time, he realized that there was such a big need for people. People are going hungry and something should be done. And as we know, Imam Patel, he talked to a few friends and some of us, and Ansaar Foundation was born. That was 20 years ago, alhamdulillah. And so today I just want to share the video and give you a little bit of brief statistics thereafter. I don't want to talk too much about it. And can we have the video, please? Night, there were 9,500 people who did not have a home. They went to shelters, to seek support and to have a roof over their heads. And I'm talking about yesterday. This is in our country, our city, the beautiful city that we know. And along with that, there were many others who did not even make it to the shelters. They were still on the streets of Toronto. It's not happening anywhere else, it's happening here. We need to be aware of that. We need to be concerned about that. And so Ansaar Foundation, in its small little ways, is trying to do whatever it can to address some of those needs. And just to give you an example of how we work and what we do, our slogan here is reducing poverty and empowering lives. And so what we do is reducing poverty. We served almost 10,000 meals last year. We helped about 800 to 1,000 families with hampers. Those are hampers that would last them for a month. And we also went to the shelters to help those who are at the shelters not having the ability to have halal meals. So we have been supplying to those shelters halal meals so that they can not forego any meals but have something to eat. So that's to do with reducing poverty, and there are other many programs as well. I don't want to get into them. Empowering lives. Next Wednesday we have workshops coming up to do with skills learning, culinary art skills learning, carving out fruit and things like that. We have a workshop coming up on entrepreneurship for women that we are putting together, helping immigrant women become entrepreneurs. We have workshops coming up on presentation skills and interview skills. So there's so many programs that are coming up, and we have so many programs, as you saw, that we conduct. Our very important other programs that I don't want to mention and get into because it becomes too lengthy. So there is a lot of programs to empower the lives of members in our community. And we do not, we are a non-denominational organization. We support anybody and everybody who comes to our office. There's a lot of counseling sessions that happen as well. And with that, I'm going to leave. Any other questions that you have, please feel free and come and talk to me or any of the board members. And I'm glad that most of our board members are here. One of our very key board member, Sister Zubaida Wahed, the trustee. I would like to make prayers and dua for her that Allah gives her shifa. And we miss her here at the event and the function.
As we all know, if you bring the poor and needy closer to you, Allah will bring you closer to Himself. With this note, I will take the honor to introduce another leader and mentor, trustee and founder of Ansaar Foundation, founder and past coordinator of Canadian Council of Imams, currently director of interfaith relations. He has been serving as imam and community leader for 50 plus years in Canada. He served as trustee of Toronto District School Board for Scarborough. He is vice president of Canadian Multi-Faith Federation. He is a Muslim chaplain at the University of Toronto, York Region Police. He is a member of Canadian Association of Police Chaplain. He served as a commissioner of Ontario Human Rights Commission, and he has been serving on advisory capacity to Toronto Police for more than 30 years. Please welcome Imam Abdul Bhai Patel.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa al-aqibatu lil-muttaqin wa as-salatu was-salamu ala Rasulil Kareem Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd, Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Sadaqallahu al-azim. Respected brothers, sisters, business people, I'm honored to see many over here, many businesses today, especially very inspiring, overwhelming talk by Brother Mohamad Fakih. And this reminds me that when he mentioned he's from Lebanon. Now, if we know a little bit of history about Canadian Muslims, the Lebanese are the real pioneers in this country. and I say this with evidence, one of the first masjid built in Canada, in Edmonton, in 1938, official masjid, I would say, was by Lebanese Muslim community. The first was masjid, a real masjid structure built in Ontario, in London, Ontario, was again the Lebanese community. In Windsor, Lebanese community. Ottawa, Lebanese community. And I don't forget my own mentor. Some of you know who is a pioneer in Islamic work, the late Dr. Ahmad Fakih, one of the co-founders of the Muslim Student Association that has laid the foundation for Islamic work. And I call my mentor because I was one of the executives of the MSA in those days and learned a lot from him. So the Lebanese community, Lebanese Muslim, Allah has blessed them to come here and light the flame of Islam in this continent. May Allah bless them and grant them easy access to Jannah. Those who have contributed and others who are alive, may Allah increase their lives and continue to bless their businesses and work. Ameen. One of the things that one of the items mentioned by Brother Abdul Hamid was how as the idea came to me was after the 9/11. We have seen a lot of attacks on Muslim community. Image of Islam was being tarnished. And how can we improve the image? One of the things we have seen. Now, I'm not here to give khutbah on anything like that, but I worked most of my life in downtown Toronto, even in my student days in the 60s. I have lived in downtown. And there was hardly a homeless person in Toronto in 1969-70 when I came. You can find one or two people begging for money around Sherbourne Jarvis area in Queen Street. But today, we have seen a different picture. In 2000, just after 9/11, I was seeing more people eating from garbage cans because I worked at Queen's Park, University of Toronto Avenue and College Street. And at that time, 2-3 people froze to death on the street. I said, how we as Muslims can watch this, reminding me of my hadith, which I never thought of it before, but I said, the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that person is not among us whose neighbors go hungry. And he didn't say Muslim neighbors or non-Muslim neighbors. He said neighbors. Yeah. So this is something that triggered my button and said that we as Muslims have to look after these hungry people rather than them. So the Ansaar Foundation started. And Alhamdulillah, today where we are in this country after 20 years, what you heard, what you watched, and we need your help. We need you to be Ansaar. I'm not really doing a full fundraiser here, but just to asking each and everyone to become a messenger for Ansaar Foundation. Take this message to those who are not here. As Rasul said about our message of Tawheed, to others, the message of poverty. 2 issues we are facing in the country right now, food insecurity and housing. And food insecurity we're trying to address here, which you heard. So how many of us today can make a commitment to donate, to continue feeding the homeless? One of the programs that was not mentioned is, in the shelters there are many Muslims and non-Muslims. Now you may be surprised that maybe all non-Muslims in the shelters are here. But our first feeding when we did in 2003, even before, at the Sherbourne Street shelter, where our president, the founding president, was manager there. And he said there are 375 Muslims who are in that shelter. This was 2003. Today there are many in the different shelters looking for halal meal. And one of the programs that Ansaar is embarking on is to provide chilled meals, thanks to our sponsor Halal Meals as well, that they can have meals ready when people come, they just have to ask and it will be ready. So these are some of the work that's going on, but if I can ask for your donation right now on the spot, well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ وَجَنَّةٍ عَرْضُهَا السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضُ أُعِدَّتْ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ الَّذِينَ يُنفِقُونَ فِي السَّرَّاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. To be muhsinin of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So spend in the fast, compete for worship. So how much can we expect from the community? You have heard the need. There's a number of homeless people, a number of others. I know the situation in Gaza demands our attention more than anything else. May Allah protect them and empower them. So this is something that we need to run. So can I ask for an amount, maybe 5,000? Who is the first person to donate $5,000? Anyone? One of the things that back in the early 90s, I was involved in organizing 2 conferences on Islamic banking. Yeah. 5,000. Is that clear?